So the state of Pokemon in 2025 is absolutely horrendous. And if you would have asked me back in, let's say like April, May, if like this was the peak of the hype, I'd be like, oh yeah, I think Destined Rivals will be the peak, maybe a few sets after that, and it'll kind of go down from there. I would have never imagined that in September of this year, the peak would double. So I don't know. Some people attribute it to the Wall Street Journal making an article about Pokemon being a top tier investment, where it outperformed the S&P by what? It was something crazy like $3,000. And so it's just brought a full wave of investors into the Pokemon hobby, where Pokemon isn't really a hobby anymore. It's an investment vehicle. And with any collectible, you kind of run into that. So that kind of comes with the territory for all collectibles. You look at Beanie Babies, heck, Labubu, you know, the craze that happened this year and ended this year. So I saw something where Labubu lost like $6 billion or something, where it's kind of dead now. Absolutely insane. So like influence culture, hype culture, anything where something goes viral on social media, it just completely intoxicates people's brains thinking that is the next big thing. That is how they're going to get rich quick. Because, I mean, who doesn't want to get rich quick? And if they see something that they can easily buy that's going to give them a return of 200% in a day, why wouldn't you try that? And so I think people seeing that in Pokemon, where they can buy something at MSRP at Walmart and sell it for 200-300% that day, obviously that's going to bring in investors, but it's just a vicious cycle of people buying, wiping out stores and selling it for market price. And that's another thing, this whole market price thing. I know it's always been a thing with Pokemon, but market price now is baseline, and then you also charge above market. So I've been to so many card shops or booths where market is no longer what you sell at. You sell at really what you want, and kind of vendors and store owners control what they want to do with their products. And collectors' inventory is so low that you're kind of stuck if you want cards of a certain high chase set, like Destined Rivals. What's another one? I don't know. Just Prismatic. That's a good example. Destined Rivals, Prismatic. If you want anything that's like high chase like that, you're at the mercy of these vendors who are charging you above market. And it's absolutely ridiculous. It's gotten so out of hand recently. And for it to be 100 times worse, not 100 times, 100% worse than it was earlier this year, it's absolutely insane. The ceiling, the cost of Pokemon is so high that I really didn't think it would get this high from that peak in April. But who knows, it could even get higher, because with people making money like this, it's not going to stop. If you're making 200% on your profit margin, why would you stop? Why would it ever stop? And so I think collectors are so starved for product that they're getting desperate and paying these market prices from scalpers, from stores. And so the end of the tunnel, the light at the end of the tunnel, I can't see it right now, but I hope this will end soon. Pokemon historically goes through waves, but I feel like the 2025 wave is just leaps and bounds worse than the 2020 wave. And I think that's partially because of social media. You've got the Wall Street Journal getting in on the action. You've got influencers, and I know it's weird coming from a guy who makes videos and could be considered an influencer, so I'm part of the problem. I acknowledge that, but I try to do my best not to pump anything unintentionally or intentionally hype up a set. It's just, I like making videos, and that's why I'm doing it. But man, it's gotten so ridiculous. And one example is the Destined Rivals. So Destined Rivals came out, what, 4 months ago? So it's still a new set. And sets get printed 3 years, up to 3-4 years after they get released. And I know we've got a whole bunch of boxes, like we've got some boxes come out in October, November that have Journey Together and Destined Rivals. So they are going to continue to print Destined Rivals. But if you look on eBay for a Destined Rivals booster box, they're currently, I think market is like $490, where it was like $400 last week and maybe $350 the week before. It's astronomically growing. And for a set to be that young and for booster boxes to already be higher than the top chase, which is the Mewtwo, and I think it goes for like $400. I looked at it 2 days ago, so surely now after 2 days it's jumped another $100. But where has this mentality come from? It's not FOMO anymore. People have no fear of missing out. It's, you know what it is? I think it goes to, it's a display of dead internet theory. Have y'all heard that, where AI and bot accounts are creating content and other bot accounts are engaging with that content, and it's just robots engaging with each other to a mass level? Like, you look at Facebook and you think, there's no way someone posted that. And then you look at the comments and you're like, there's no way someone commented that. Well, it's bots. And dead internet theory is a theory that bots are just going to do their own thing, and there's not going to be much human interaction with what you see. Everything you see is going to be AI. It's going to be bots. I think that's a good analogy for what's happening in the Pokemon market. I think these crazy prices are scalpers buying from scalpers, and then they're buying at high prices, and so they're market manipulating to get higher to then sell to scalpers who want to make a profit, who are then going to sell to more scalpers. I think the average collector they're not paying these prices. Most likely these prices are coming from ribbon shippers who can buy a whole bunch of products in bulk, who are offloading from other scalpers trying to offload their products. And you could sell cards, you just rip it online, and then I don't know who is paying for these packs to be opened by someone else. That's another concept entirely. I don't know how or why people are paying to have someone else open packs. I don't get that. So I think it's like scalpers selling to ribbon shippers selling to customers for inflated prices, and then whenever they don't sell, it's going back to scalpers, and then it's just a vicious cycle of resellers and scalpers selling to each other and inflating the prices, because obviously they're not going to sell for a loss. They're going to increase their prices, and then more scalpers going to buy it for either ribbon shipping or to sell at a, again, higher price. So I don't know many collectors who are paying $700 for a Destined Rivals booster box. It's either a scalper or an investor who, that's another thing. So these new investors are most likely people who grew up with Pokemon, who know Team Rocket, but don't know the modern state of Pokemon. They don't know about IRs, SIRs. They don't know what makes a good set. They don't know chase art. It's a different environment than when I'm 30 years old. Growing up with Pokemon, completely different environment. And so I think Destined Rivals, they see, oh, Team Rocket, I know Team Rocket, that will be a good thing to invest in. So you got investors, scalpers, all buying Destined Rivals, while Journey Together, equally as good set. But Journey Together is currently the cheapest booster box, cheap being a relative term, at $230. And that's another thing. Why is the cheapest booster box on the market $230 for a set no one cares about? Used to, whenever someone didn't care about a set, like Obsidian Flames, I know Shrouded Fable didn't have a booster box, but no one cared about Shrouded Fable. What's another example? Paldea Evolved, for a long time, people didn't like. Used to, if no one liked a set, it was going to sell below MSRP. Nothing gets sold below MSRP. $200 is kind of the new baseline for a booster box, and it's absolutely insane. It's I just bought a Silver Tempest booster box for my shelf because I just got the PSA Lugia 10. I wanted to have a little display. I don't have many sealed collections, but that was my first time getting a booster box, and it blew my mind how expensive all these booster boxes are. Like Surging Sparks, they're currently reprinting Surging Sparks. It's less than a year old, and it's what, $300, $400 for a Surging Sparks booster box. And Surging Sparks was always kind of a hated set. I don't understand why. I feel like it should be a set that's popular, but something about it, people just didn't like Surging Sparks. And yet it's selling for really expensive, which goes to show, or begs the question, who is paying these high prices for a set that no one likes, a worthless set? I want to do like a full investigation on, I don't know how I would do that, but the market. Collecting has become legal market manipulation. It's almost like the gold rush, like when people moved out to California and it was like a promise of riches, a good life. Pokemon is like the modern gold rush where everyone's getting into it, everyone's making exuberant amount of money. Is that the right term? Yeah. But it's getting ridiculous. If you don't catch a pre-order, which is a whole different issue, getting a pre-order. If you don't get a pre-order, you're going to have to learn the schedule of your local Walmart or Target restocking and try to get a restock. But most people have jobs. Most people they're working when the restocks are happening, and so these unemployed scalpers are able to get products. It's ridiculous how you can't find products unless you pre-order, and then pre-ordering is just a disaster in and of itself. So I want to do a video. The Labubu's are a perfect example of what is going to happen to Pokemon when consumers aren't going to buy. When prices get so high that consumers aren't going to buy it, and scalpers are left with products and they don't know what to do with it. Labubu is going to be a great example of what is going to happen when that happens to Pokemon, because it was crazy. There was a false sense of scarcity, even though I could go to any gas station, any store, and see a Labubu. You can make anything sound scarce online where people need to buy it from a certain TikTok shop or a certain whatnot seller, but in reality, it's false scarcity and inflated popularity, which is exactly what's happening with Pokemon. So I kind of want to do a deep dive into Labubu, see exactly what happened, and see if I can see any signs of certain things happening to Pokemon, and kind of figuring out what is going to be the trajectory of where Pokemon is going to go into 2026. Now we've got the 30th anniversary in 2026. That's going to be crazy. Overall, oh man, I don't even know what to leave it with that, but hopefully it'll get better. Historically, it usually does. Historically there's highs and lows of Pokemon, but this has been a different beast 2025, so we shall see. Moral of the story, don't buy a Destined Rivals booster box for $700. That is crazy, man. Don't buy any modern set for that much. That's crazy. Maybe buy Evolving Skies for that much because they're not printing it anymore, but I mean, heck, Paldean Fates 2 years ago, they're coming out with a premium collection in December after 2 years. And so that just goes to show Paldean Fates is even getting printed today, and most likely most all of the Scarlet and Violet era sets will be reprinted. So, oh man, I don't even know what advice to give you to enjoy the hobby. It's super frustrating, but I don't know. Find something you enjoy with it. Either collecting maybe a less popular artist, collecting a less popular Pokemon, or just getting into the game. I've gotten into the game. It's a lot of fun. And good luck. It's a tough hobby out there. It's tough.